Candidate Guillermo Lasso, to you.
To the polling stations in an exemplary attitude, a patriotic opportunity, and after the risks of the pandemic, they went to the polling stations as they did it to exercise their right to vote. Secondly, congratulations to the Ecuadorian people, which, with over 65%, which is the equivalent of 2/3 of all the Ecuadorians, have said no to the popular model. To a popularist model which seeks to govern again the Ecuador with measures that have failed. In every countries of the world, they have applied them. And here we have an example, Venezuela. That is why I give my congratulations to the Ecuadorian people. 2/3 of the population want a change. They want the economy to grow. However, we have statements from other candidates, and we see that after this, there is an intention of generating problems, which is not adequate to us. So Ecuador has to be certain of what's going on. We are here with willing to face the challenge, and we'll be here to defend all the Ecuadorians in the face of a government that want to use these problems to reach the government. You have our support, and you have our knowledge, scientific knowledge, and our role as political actors to contribute with social peace, to avoid the social conflict, and to build unity for the entire country. You have our support, all the Ecuadorian citizens. Now, with results in the quick polls, and also with results of the quick polls of our team, we are confirmed as the winners of this first electoral round with a very wide margin. This also is shown in our simulation models, and this shows we will have many assembly members in the National Assembly, which will allow us to have adequate governability, which will allow us to have a good team to support the Ecuadorian people, which induces to confusion and mistakes. And 5 minutes after that, one of the councillors in a television channel informed that the result of the quick polls place us in a second round. On the other side, all of you can go to the webpage of the National Electoral Council, and you can see that the counting of the records one by one confirms this. We are in the second round. Nothing of what I have achieved in my life has been easy. Everything that I have achieved has required a fight and decision. That's what we have now, a decision to continue the fight for a democratic Ecuador, for a free Ecuador, for a prosperous Ecuador. I say this to you with calm, to all my supporters, to keep calm, to rest, that after seeing 100% of the votes, we will reconfirm that we'll be in the runoff elections. It is the moment to face the future, a future of opportunities, a future of prosperity, and do not allow that the representatives of the most corrupt people of Ecuador in the last 40 years to come back. We say to them, no, that the honest people are willing to fight with decision to defend our space.
Vamos inmediatamente a ver qué está diciendo hasta ahora el candidato Arauz. Póngalo, por favor.
Which are almost 40,000 records which have to be recovered from the entire country to have a result.
Okay, vamos a mirar qué sucedió ahí con Guillermo Lasso.
Okay, let's see what happened with Guillermo Lasso. 2,400 registers. So we are talking about not a sufficient quantity to cover the entire electoral roll, which must follow the criteria of all the Ecuadorians who have voted. So we now ask our supporters, and leading this political project, the transformation of our country, we call for unity. We call for all the people who have made a clean campaign, an honest campaign, a proposition campaign, a campaign that seeks to deepen our constitutional mandates, to continue with this initiative of recovering the dignity of the Ecuadorians, of recovering hope, of recovering the jobs, of a government that supports all the Ecuadorians. Thank you very much. So we have the opportunity to respond some questions of international and national media. So we continue with our companion from teleAmazonas for the first question. Candidate, good night. My first question has to do that the first results given by the National Electoral Council, of course, there will be a second round. Have you thought about the political movements that could actually support you? And the second question is that in the second round, are you going to make transparent your campaign accounts? This is because of the information of the National Liberation Army to your campaign. So let's start by the second question. The Alliance or the for Hope have said several times, and we have given all the elements corresponding to the campaign financing. So it will be important that in your case, you can also ask the other candidacies if they have given their reports to the government. So in our case, the numbers are at the disposal of all the Ecuadorians. It has been a big effort. The entire country knows about our initiative of crowdfunding, of the collective financing. What we can say is to have a contrast of the news. And I will only mention one thing. After in these days we could solve this, is that the magazine Semana mentions in his alleged news that an alleged meeting in the International Progressive meeting last year. The Progressive International was founded last year, and his summit was made virtually, and it is actually on YouTube, and everyone could see how this summit was developed. And so the leaders of the International Progressive are in Ecuador as international observers, and it will be very easy for any of you to ask them any question regarding the Progressive International. So we reject this accusation because there are no doubts and there are no proofs. It is a lie. And at due time, we will take some actions regarding this, because here we do not have to prove that we are innocent. So if you have an accusation, we need to see the proofs of that accusations. So regarding the approaches with the different political organizations, of course, we've said from the Union for Hope that we are open. We are willing to talk to any political actor of Ecuador. We have the interest of building a project of national unity. That, of course, there has to be certain fundamental values that we have repeated for several times, and they have to do of getting out of the economic, social, and health crisis of the Ecuadorian people, of the moral crisis of public authorities that are actually taking the opportunity to privatize several companies to destroy our country and not to attend the needs of the Ecuadorian people. We need to have consensus, the urgencies of the Ecuadorian people, a transparency policy that believes in the building of a country to defeat the bad practices of corruption, of public and private corruptions. And of course, a policy that includes a developing program to follow the Constitution. You are all welcome. And of course, we will be willing to add those efforts for Ecuador to have dignity again. Thank you very much. Continue with the logic of the Union for Hope team with the local media. So, Naranjal TV, a local media, and thank you very much for your reports during the electoral process. Good afternoon, Franklin Palomino. Congratulations. I want to ask you about the results. We see a result of the National Electoral Council. You see there are some numbers that we find short. And after you said that you failed that too. That's one question. And the other one, I would ask you directly by candidate Javier Herbas. Thank you. To answer the first question, of course, we are concerned about these records of the quick polls, because they do not actually coincide with our numbers. Our numbers are bigger, and obviously at due time, when the official results are shown, we will establish differences between the results, and of course we will present our results as it is our rights. So we're asking our supporters and our delegates to continue firm in where the votes are being counted, where the records are being created, for us to have the evidence, and for us to, of course, to count with all those records to take this process. So this is very important for us to defend our votes. So we have to be vigilant, we have to be there. They are firm, participating in the process of the digitalization centers at the national level, and we are still receiving information of that kind. So regarding Javier Herbas, I think that we have to congratulate and we have to see the campaign Javier Herbas made, supporting the youth, supporting the new information technologies, and I think that the country sees a generation renewable. It is something that we have said several times during our campaigns, insisting on the importance that we need to have new members in our politics with new ideas, young people. So we are willing to talk. I think that there are many points that we think likewise. So, and we need young people, creative people. So it is a transformation process to bring dignity back to the citizens. Thank you very much for the media to have here. Good night, and thank you for participating.